This is your host, Jason Snellgrove, and I will be your guide as we journey down the road to pleasure hunt or hitting the long trail to those great comp hunts. This is the Coonhound Collective podcast. All right, we're back. And when I say we, I mean we're probably not going to be talking about walker dogs this week, so Brett's back with me.
These dogs are going to have some ticks on them that we're getting ready to talk about.
Yeah, they are.
Tonight.
Yep.
And...
oh, I got to have that.
And then another, Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we got another.
Them dogs got ticks on them, too.
A good one Sunday.
Yeah.
A real good one.
You just said the W word a minute ago, didn't you?
But not the way it. I'm saying it different than the way it's spelled. Walkers. Walcurs. Walkers.
Oh.
So.
How much time we got left in the hunt?
About 30 seconds.
Listen.
Nope, I don't hear you.
Right through there. Listen, right through there.
Nope.
How much time now?
About 20.
Listen, right through there. Listen, real good. You hear me in there, Judge?
Sounds like a coyote to me.
You don't hear me in there?
Nope, sound like a coyote. That's yard dogs.
Listen.
That's yard dogs.
Just
barking.
listen.
You hear them yard dogs in there?
Oh. Treat me right there.
I don't hear you.
How much time's left? Treat me right there.
5 seconds.
Treat me right there.
Okay, he's back at it. So we got one Apple review that's come in that we need to read before we get going with this podcast. We got a good podcast going tonight. We're going to travel. We're actually recording this intro ahead of the podcast. We got to do a little traveling to get to where we're going tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I've been waiting a good 2 weeks for this one.
You should be pumped up, ready.
I am.
You've been off for a couple of weeks.
Up.
I had to do one sick.
You wait till me and him get together over there here later.
And then
you'll be able to get a word in.
This podcast will release Monday, which is, what date is Monday? The 3rd. But then after this podcast, Sunday, we're going to do some traveling. And we're going to keep that hush-hush. It's going to be a surprise, but trust me, y'all are going to want to make sure whatever you listen to this podcast on, you're following so you get notification because you're going to want to hear this one.
It'll get shared a bunch, too.
Yeah.
When we interview him.
So read that Apple review right there.
Oh, we got a good one here. Houndsman94, great podcast. Seen the Coon Dog Cemetery episode on Facebook. Gave it a listen, then went straight to episode 1 and have been listening to it once I leave the house until I get back home. Love the show, and listening to it got me to start working on starting to comp hunt. That's great.
That's what we like to hear. We want to inspire people to get out and get back into coon hunting if you've been out of it, and whether it's pleasure hunting, comp hunting, whatever.
Yeah, big shout out to Houndsman94.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Is there any more there?
No, I've already read the other one.
Oh, you read? Oh, well, here's the other one.
Okay.
Oliver Anthony. He says it's a shame what this world's gotten to, but this podcast makes it all better for him.
Oh my God.
Well, I might have been joking on that one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that might have been a joke, but
yeah.
I'd say if he listened to it, that's what he'd say, though.
Probably right.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably like it if he heard it.
Yeah.
Especially with my co-host. He might not like all the ones I've done by myself.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a brand new pair of overalls.
Were you looking? You are looking.
I am GQ tonight.
You are. You run your thumbs through the
and look,
the top part of it instead of through holes.
My Crocs.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready.
You and about to say his name.
Don't say it.
He wears Crocs.
We'll bring that up tonight.
He wears Crocs too.
Yeah.
He coon hunts in them.
Yeah, I know.
He'll be in them tonight.
I'm sure. I
mean, we've had all this rain. It's wet. But he'll be in them.
Yeah, probably.
One good thing about wearing them things, they'd be easy to slip off and swim to the dog if you had to. So.
Well, I've seen him swim to several.
Well, if mine gets out of pocket, I'll have one of you boys swimming to him because I'm not wearing Crocs.
Let's see, has anything happened we need to talk about since you've been on?
Nah, you said you've been...
You missed 2 episodes. Did you listen to them at least?
I did. I listened to them.
Okay.
They were pretty good.
One I was pretty...
I bit my lip a few times on that one. My tongue. I stomped the ground a few times, stubbed my toe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I figured that one would stir a few people up.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of it, but boy, I was wanting in on that. I can't believe you done that without me, but I know you had to, so.
Yeah. And then the other one I was pretty puny, so.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some new equipment, and you kind of dancing around there. You like this a lot better, or?
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
It's
you
awesome.
kind of move around, kind of frees you up.
Yeah, and I can lay down or whatever. I mean, that thing's, look how long that is.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, new mics.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Are you ready to get over there?
I guess so. We can get stuff packed up and get on the road. And
let's go. I'm excited to get over there and talk to him.
We'll do you got snacks?
Snacks?
Yeah.
I got all kinds of snacks out there. I'll tell you what I brought tonight. What? I didn't mention it before.
Lipton green tea?
I tried that stuff.
I got it in the refrigerator cold.
Well, you can have all that you want. I don't want none of that junk. I tried it. I can't do it.
Oh, my goodness.
But let me tell you something.
What?
Chicken and a biscuit.
Chicken and a biscuit?
A whole box of them.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much coon hunting is going to get done tonight. It has been raining most the afternoon, and looks like it's going to move out, but we're going to go get set up and do this interview and hopefully turn the dog loose. I got my little handheld recorder just in case I need to.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Sneak it in on you.
It'll be good on him.
Oh, do we need to talk about the night you took me trespassing? Hold on, I got something for you. Hold on.
I don't trespass. What do you?
Hold on. I got something for you right here. Do we need to cut our lights off? Is this a trespassing area?
No, but they're going to see when we walk through this wet grass in this field.
Do we need to run to them?
I'm not running to mine, but...
What the heck was
Hold
that?
on, turn your light off. Well, they're not armadillo dogs.
Hey, Russ has got an $18 dog lead on a $2 gate.
Huh.
Is them dogs split? Or are they just echoing down that hall?
Not unless you own a coyote. That coyote's split. Hey, turn your light off.
We might be trespassing. So if you come up here to go hunting with Loner, you might be trespassing a little bit. I put that together just for you.
That little handheld deal
is going to get you in trouble.
That ain't good. You tricked me.
All right, let's pack this stuff up and get on the road.
Hey, you've heard everybody say, oh, man, I tell you, our dogs can't read. We had to go in there and get them. We turned loose where we could hunt. I promise.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, okay. Nobody shot at us, so we was good other than, hey, cut your light off over and over again.
I can't believe you done that to me. Oh, my goodness.
All right, you ready to get on the road?
Yeah, let's get out here.
All right, we're out. All right, we have made the journey over here to where I guess we're at Purdy, Missouri.
I didn't think we was ever going to get here.
Yeah, I know. You whined and complained for the whole 45-minute ride. Oh, my God.
Well, he's the first person I've ever seen take 4 hours to get from Hurley to Purdy.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I thought.
We're here with Aaron Gamble, the 2024 Missouri State PKC champion, and amongst other wins. And we'll get your story. So let's start from the beginning. How'd you get into hunting?
Well, my mom and dad got together. No, let's get serious here. I was 10 years old, roughly, or 11. A man named Blaine Lewis moved up above our dairy. Him and his wife had no kids, but he running dogs. And, of course, that was kind of coming to the end because too many people, and, it was just getting where they couldn't do it anymore. Well, he was friends with some guys named J.B. and Alan Conrad, Gary Burton, Johnny Jackson, which Johnny's my uncle. But anyway, they all coon hunted, so he started getting into coon hunting. And he'd give me a beagle, and that kind of got me into hounds. And then he had went down and got a dog named Boone, which was probably the last living son out of Lonnie's old hawk dog. He may not have been, but pretty close to the last one that it was out of him. And old Matt Pettit ended up with him.
What was the dog's name?
Boone. Matt Pettit had him.
Yeah.
Had a dog named Splinter out of him, I believe.
What year would that have been? I'm just sitting there
About
thinking.
94.
I remember, yeah.
93 or 94 is where that would have been.
That name Boone rings a bell with Matt.
And this was
Danny Wilson made him a night champion. His name was Wilson's Daniel Boone, best I remember. That would have been his paper's name, I believe.
Okay.
and this you before we go forward, you grew up in Hurley.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. So anyway, Blaine actually had a dog originally named Goose. He's bobtailed because the car had hit it and busted his tail up. But anyway, he got old Boone because Goose was mediocre. So he come up with old Boone, and he had a brood female named Jackie, and he had a litter of pups, and he gave me a female. So that was my first hound. I was 11 or 12, I guess, 10. And I took her everywhere I went. She wouldn't go hunting a lick because I'd packed her everywhere. Basically, I made her a lap dog. But I didn't know. I just a little old dumb kid taking my dog, because I went hunting every single day with my BB gun. So anyway, we done that, got to hunting her, and she wouldn't turn a tap, wouldn't leave. And Blaine told me several times, he said, she's a lap dog. But she would not go. We put her up into heat. She'd come into her first heat cycle, and we put her up. And I don't know what that done to her, but when we brought her out of the heat, she would go hunting, was quickly running and treeing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it broke her psychologically, not being around me for 3 weeks, or if it, just matured her hormonally. I don't know. I just know she just all of a sudden started hunting immediately after that. And I hunted her for 2 or 3 years, and she was a big going female. Matter of fact, her dad was a big going dog. He was a good as hound as I ever been in the woods with. But she was a big going hound, and I turned her loose in about 1995, and she's still going to this day.
You ain't never found her?
Never found her. That's how big of a hunting dog she was. Of course, I didn't have no tracking system. I didn't have enough money to buy gas, let alone a tracking system. So, but yeah, that was probably 94, 95. I turned her loose on Harold Doolin's over there on a place above the river, James River. And like I said, she's still going as far as I know. So anyway, I'd had a walker dog or two in there. That was kind of when I was retarded and hadn't hit puberty yet and kind of grew up.
Oh, boy, he's going to start saying the W words.
Yeah. So
I thought we was getting ticked up over here.
But I got to at least tell that part of my story.
Okay.
But I had actually had Dad had bought me an old dog named Joe, and they'd road hunted him. He come from Chadwick over there somewhere. But he was a nice old hound. And then Danny Wilson had a dog named Spot, which was out of his old night champion dog, Speck. That was Danny's first night champion. But Speck and them went back to Finley River Nighthawk. If you guys remember Finley River Nighthawk and them. But he went back to them, if you remember that.
Junior Lassiter's? Not Table
No.
Rock Flying
No, that's
Hawk.
Flying Hawk. That's Table Rock Flying Hawk. This was Finley River Nighthawk.
Oh, so Lonnie Mears stuff?
I'm guessing. I don't know. All I know is this Finley River, and then it also had Spring Creek TG and Dummy in his pedigree. Matter of fact, I still got the pedigree in there in my albums, and which is I'm probably very few people that's actually still got pedigrees that says Spring Creek, in them. But anyway, I got rid of him, and then I think that's the last walker I ever owned. That's, like I said, I hit puberty and kind of grew up and got out of that nonsense. So anyway, I had a few dogs that were, and I comp hunted a little bit. Our comp hunt consisted of going to a few hunts, and that was it. Nobody was serious, half the guys, very few people had even had a grand night. Mark Wallace had a grand night bitch, and shoot, at that time, around Hurley, that's about the one I can remember that actually made one a grand night. Of course, that's back when there was a lot more hunters, and you had to have your 5 first place, high scoring, not like it is now. So the moral story is we just hunted, mainly, and then just comp hunted a little bit. So I fiddled around there and had a dog or two. And of course, everybody said when I got 16, I'd quit coon hunting. Well, that was a lie because I never did quit. So anyway, about 1998, of course, I just got out of high school and was actually married just a few months after getting out of school. And a guy by the name of Coy Cole, he lived at Republic. He had been going with Earl Essery hunting. And Coy was a walker dog man. He had a dog he'd hunted a lot called Mohawk Captain Hook. He's right out of Naylor. I don't remember ever hunting with a dog, but I think he was a pretty good hound. But anyway, he had been going with Earl Essery, and Earl had a blue dog out of Dwayne Caulfield's dog and Snowden's old runt dog. And Caulfield had went down there and got 3 pups. I don't know why. If there was only 3, I don't know if they all died. I don't know. I just know there was 3 of them. A dog named Rogue, a female that Mark Maples ended up buying, and then the preacher dog. But anyway, Coy kept saying, Aaron, you need to go buy that dog off Earl. Of course, Earl was kind of a dog trader in a way. And he was paralyzed he got shot coon hunting in the back by a dope head. So he never did keep a dog long.
Wait. He was like in at a tree and got shot?
He went in and got his dog, and a dope head shot him in the back and paralyzed him.
Was he trespassing?
No. He'd done there 30 years. He had permission to be there, but no boys down there in the campers jacked out.
Wow.
And shot him. And then he laid down there and yelled. Now I've got to tell that story. He's down there yelling, and that old boy was the one that called the ambulance or whatever to come and get him.
The boy that shot him called the ambulance to come get him?
Yeah. I think I'm telling the story exactly right. But anyway, he lived at Wheelerville. But anyway, he's had that young dog, and Coy had seen him split tree a few times. He's like 12 months old, and he kept saying, Aaron, you need to go buy him. Well, shoot, I was married. I didn't have enough money to buy food, let alone a stinking coon dog. Well, after about 2 months goes by, Coy finally says, I've talked myself into wanting to buy him. So we went over to Earl's, and Earl had him out there in a pen. Didn't even hear him bark. He was in a pen, and Earl said I want $1,000 for him, which now that don't sound like nothing. But in 1998, when you're just married, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And,
sure.
of course, dogs hadn't really started selling for big money yet anyway, But $1,000 is pretty good for a 13-month-old dog, especially, like I said, when you're flat broke. So anyway, Earl said he'd take $1,000, and Coy had a tracking system, no beep, telemetry system, and I didn't have nothing but a 270 Weatherby, Mark V 270 Weatherby I'd bought before I'd got married. So I went to Spokane and sold it. So Coy had 500 in him, and I had 500 in him, and we got him, and I started hunting him, and he would first time or two I took him, he wouldn't hardly hunt by himself, but it wasn't long he took off, it wasn't no issue. Very good hound. If I knew what I knew now, I could have won a lot more with him. Plus, I got more money now, too, so I could have pushed him better because I didn't have money to push him. But me and Coy and Mark Maples would go hunting, and the only reason I even got to go to a few of the hunts was Mark would pay for the gas and motel, and I just paid my entry fee and my food. If it wasn't for Mark, I wouldn't have went to any of them. So I got to thank him for that. Because, like we went to Albany, Georgia to the Winter Classic with him, and then we hunted the Sunshine Jamboree. That was the same weekend. We went to McAllister, Oklahoma to a 2,000 added. I won some money down there with him, and then Nightlight used to have that 2,000 added money, and I got to go down there. Matter of fact, Gary Brown gave me the money to go, so I got to thank him too. But he gave me the entries were $60 a night, so he gave me like $120, and we was gonna split the winnings. That's how much faith he had in my dog. I don't know about me, but he did the dog apparently. So I went to a few of those bigger hunts, but it was due to them guys because there was no way I could have. There ain't no way I could have went by myself because, like I said.
And this was the preacher dog.
Yes, this would be my dog. I'm hunting now's grandpa. So anyway, Albert McCullough, I'm kind of working up to present day. I was Grandin preacher, and actually the first hunt I put him in, I won first. The second hunt I lost. The third hunt I won first. And the fourth hunt I won fifth at Clinton. So in 4 hunts, I'd made him a night champion with 2 firsts and a fifth. So I thought I was, hot crap. So then I started making him at Grand. I won. I went to Greene County one night and made him. It's funny because when he was up there, Don Carver was making fun of me for hunting blue ticks We was at Greene County, Ash Grove, where you want to call it. But Don Carver made fun of me for hunting the blue tick, and I beat them all, won. And the very next night was Humansville, and I went up there, and I'll never forget, Mac McAllister asked Darrell Edgman, said, who won Greene County? And he said, that kid standing down there. So I felt pretty good. I thought I was, somebody. And I won Humansville that night, too. So I put 2 back-to-back on him right then. And then I can't remember all of them anymore, but the fifth one I know come from Chadwick, because I got the trophy in there on the wall. Because actually, I was just showing Brett Stevens that it would come from their club at Chadwick. We'd went down to Swan Lake, and I'd hunted with Swan Creek. Yeah, Swan Creek, south down there toward Forsyth.
Yeah, you earned that one.
Yeah, he's pretty rough hunting, but I drew. I'll think of the guy's name here in a minute, but he actually had a young dog named a dog out of Old Boone called Bo. And he was down there. He lived down there at Van Zant, and he does heating and cooling. Jamie Reese.
Yeah.
But he had a dog named Bo, and he was on the cast, and I can't remember who else.
A Walker dog? Or
No,
blue tick,
he's that old Boone, that Boone dog I was talking about. The first blue tick good one I'd ever been with. So that was kind of neat that I was with a young dog out of him, and made him a grand night that night. And so anyway, but about that same time as I was granting him, Albert McCullough, which lives down here by Shell Knob, had a bitch named Boston Mountain Gypsy. And Gypsy was right out of White River Sugar. Of course, everybody knows Sugar.
I remember hunting against Gypsy.
Yeah.
She was a good gyp.
Yeah. The first time he bred her, he went down and bred the old Hornet. And that's where that fly female that Lonnie hunted. I don't know if she was good, but they say she was.
Fly?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
They say she was good. But that's where she come from, was that first cross off of Gypsy.
I think she made the top 20 of the world, huh?
I think she did, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the second time, Albert, me and him had been drawing each other a bunch, and he'd win, I'd win. It was back and forth as we was granding them. Matter of fact, 2 of them wins come from Blue Eye. Now, since I think about it, because I scored 750 down there, 750 or 725 twice down there at Blue Eye.
Was you hunting chicken houses when you scored it? Was you around any of them chicken houses?
Jeff McCullough, Albert's brother, guided me the first time, and we went into Arkansas, and I'm not sure, but I'm sure he was, because there was chicken houses. And the next time, I think Albert guided.
Yeah.
But I scored 825 both times and got 100 minus both times. So anyway, that's my 2 other wins that I put on in making my grand night. Now, since I've got telling stories. So anyway, Albert said, I think I'm going to breed your dog this time. Because like I said, we'd been winning, and he liked him. So he come up and brought Gypsy up, and we bred him, and that's where the White River Chief dog come from that Doyle Luchman studied for 4 or 5 years. Okay? That's where he come from. Doyle wanted him because he was close enough to his stuff, but was just far enough to breed back into that stuff that he had. So anyway, that's Doyle had ended up buying him, and my old dog was getting old, and I was hunting some, and then me and her bought a farm over here at Purdy. And anyway, we moved over here, and I was hunting a little bit, but I didn't know where to hunt. And I was driving an hour to work every day, so I wasn't hunting that hard with him. And then he'd started coughing, and he'd come find out he had congestive heart failure. So he died on me, and I went and bought a dog over at Seneca from some guy or two. They weren't worth drowning, really. So anyway, I called Doyle, and I said, I want something out of old Chief. Where's he at? Well, he was in Texas, just north of Shamrock, Texas, which is back this side of Amarillo. So I went down there, and that old boy had a dog, and I bought him and brought him up here. And he was all right. Well, he had another dog in the pen that he was scroungy looking. His eyes were a little bit light, and his face was half, instead of having a full black head or whatever, half of it was blue and half of it was black, so he had a half face. But he was 11 months old, and he wouldn't sell him to me at the time. Well, a couple weeks later, he said, I'll sell him to you. So I drove back down, all the way back down there, 8 hours, and got him. I really liked the dog. I got him run over when he was about 3, but anyway, he was a good hound. That's the one I won 6th at the Oklahoma State hunt, and then I won 1st the next year in there. So anyway, I could went big mouth, way bigger mouth than dog I hunt now, and good hound. But he got off. We had a storm, and I guess lightning hit the tree out here, and he ran out and broke off. And I found him 3 or 4 miles over on a dirt road, run over. The next day, somebody called me, which I'm still sick over it. But I had, about the same time, I had got a female out of Northern Blue Dancer, which is Ron Taylor's, goes back to Northern Blue Levi. Northern Blue Levi's out of Jet 5. Taylor had Levi, not Dancer, Bingo, and then Dancer. And Dancer, he'd won second at the World Hunt and won the Triple Crown that same year with him. But Corky Burks had a female out of him, and I wanted her, and he said she's just a brood bitch, and he said he'd bring her up if I'd pay the haul fee. So about this time, I got my rock dog. He brought me this female, and I had ended up buying half of O'Chief from them boys in Texas, Tanner Collins and Tyson. Tanner, Toby. Am I getting their names right? There's Tanner was the boy, and then Toby was his dad, and Tyler was the grandpa. And they all hunted blue ticks. But anyway, I went down there and ended up buying half a Chief and had semen stored on him. So anyway, we AI'd the Northern Blue Dancer female, and I got 9 pups, and that's where my dog I've hunted now come from, out of that AI semen.
Oh, but
And there was a couple good ones in that litter, but my goal was I had AI'd her. Well, I was going to breed her back to my rock dog that had got run over. I was going to live breed them after she come back in heat. Well, she got run over, and wasn't long he got run. I had turned her loose out here. I felt sorry for her because she just been a brood bitch in a pen all her life, and I thought I'm going to let her. She's like 8.5. I thought I'm going to let her run loose, because I just felt sorry for her. But I thought as soon as she comes back in, I'm going to breed her to my rock dog, and then I can have a litter out of both. Anyway, she got run over, and wasn't a few weeks later, he busted loose in that storm and got run over. So that totally went out the door. So these pups started growing, and I had another male, and I had this male dog, Crush, and then there was a female. I don't know what happened to the rest. Oh, Albert McCullough did end up buying one, but I don't know if he ever did hunt him enough. I don't really know what happened to him, but I'd hang the coons up, like everybody does. I'd hang a coon up out here, and he would tree it, and I did tree it every breath. Well, the other dog, he wouldn't pay no attention to it. So I got rid of him to a guy. I ain't going to say his name, but I got rid of him to a guy, and shooting 2 weeks, that dog was running and treeing. So that just goes to show you, just because they ain't messing with a hang-up don't mean they ain't going to be a good hound.
that's right.
So anyway, that dog took off. Independent, lot of natural independence in him. Naturally, none of this having to. I ain't saying a man don't need to touch them up on, but what I'm saying is it ain't like some of these are just hell bent on backpacking and you know what I'm saying. But that dog was really nice. But the guy was, like I said, I'm gonna mention his name, but he loved him up, rubbed him down too much at the tree. This dog wanted a tree, but he would rub him down and pet him and hiss him, and it's like he wasn't doing the dog no favor. Well, the dog, I don't really think the dog got mean, but if a dog come in and was rough, he'd defend his tree. This guy would prefer him just to get up and leave, which is fine if that's what he likes. So he got rid of him. The dog ended up going to Doyle Uchman. Doyle called me within a couple weeks, asked me, he said, that guy loved that dog up a lot, didn't he? And I said, yeah. And I said, how can you tell? He said, I can tell that he's been messed with a lot of tree. And I said, yeah, he is. And I said, you like him? He said, yeah, I really like him. Well, I don't know, 6 months later, 5 months later, I can't remember, Doyle had actually got rid of him. I said, how come? He said he did start getting mean because I had a blue heeler. You know how blue heelers are. Was going down there and got to fighting through the fence with him. So he gave him to an old man that hunted by himself. And the old man, I guess, really liked him because he would tree a lot of coon. So that's dog went to wherever. And then I was hunting Crush. He was always been a good tree dog. Even he was a lot better when he was young. Of course, he's old now, but he's always been a good tree dog. And then, but I didn't think he was a comp dog. I didn't hunt him. I actually didn't hunt him until he was almost 5 in a comp hunt because I didn't think he could win. But I had a dual grand brother to him. I'd bred a few bitches too, and I didn't like any of them. And but I was training, taking them with him and just messing with them. And I went through I don't know how many, and finally I'm like, my God, hunt this stupid thing. Like, you can't replace him, but I thought, I still didn't think I could win with him. So I went down to Blue Eye to a BBCHA sectional, and they had an English sectional. As the first hunt I put him in, I won it. And I thought, well, maybe I can win with him a little bit. He had, on the dump, he got in there deep by himself, and other dogs had scratched out, and they ended up treeing a coon or two. But anyway, so I thought maybe he's a little better than I thought he was. So then I started getting serious with him, and then but I had to take about 6 months to a year to get him out of his bad habits, because if he when I was just hunting him, if he was gone 20 minutes, come in, I was fine with that. If he was gone an hour and come in, I was fine with that. If he done something, I was fine because I had no intent to do it. So he was just doing whatever he wanted to, basically. But once I realized, I think this goofbag can actually win, I thought, now I've got to spend some time to fix all this crap. So then it took me, I don't know, about a year, but it took me 6 or 8 months, to finally, teach him, you ain't coming to the truck. You ain't hunt for 20 minutes and coming to the pickup. You're going to hunt till I tell you to come to the truck. And so anyway, and it just kind of went from there. And then I finished him quick. I don't know how quick, but it was pretty quick. I granded him, and then of course I just quit then and went right into PKC. And then that's when I, really, and he just kept getting better and better, the more I'll properly train the dog instead of just hunting the dog, and then that's where I've done all my winning basically the last 4 years.
Yeah, it was. I got a hold of PKC, and the list is from 2019 is the first hunt he was put in, March of 2019, and it's 2024, so roughly 5 years. He's won 70-something cast. So you play second with him at the truck hunt.
Yeah, I got to go to the senior truck hunt.
And you've been twice with him.
I've been twice to the senior truck hunt. I'm not for sure. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I was talking to, I think it was Cheyenne Cummings. I may be the only blue tick that's ever been twice to the senior truck hunt.
Yeah.
And then one second, too.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because I didn't even know that the first year I'd got in at large ticket, I didn't even know what it was. They just called me and said, you got in at large ticket. Well, hell, I had to call somebody and tell me what it was. And it was funny. I'll never forget Jennifer Cummings. She laughed and said, he'll go down. She laughed and said, he don't even know what it is, and he's going to go down there and end up winning it. Well, then I got in the Final Four, so then she was really tickled because it's like she may have been, ended up being right, so.
And that was, especially from where we live up here, that was some pretty rough hunting as far as water and stuff that year.
We hunted in water like I'll be honest with you. I drew out with a dog from Alabama. Now I've got to tell the story. I drew out with a boy from Alabama and a dog from Ohio, and there was water everywhere. Everywhere. Some guys waded chest deep water, but now luckily we didn't get any of that. And I told them, go ahead.
Was this the first time you went?
Yes, this is the first time. This was in Dumas, and they had a bunch of rain.
Okay.
But that old boy got out and said he is from Alabama. And I thought, well, I'm screwed. Because I thought, hell, this guy's dog, they live in this stuff. I thought, there ain't no way I can win this. And I even told that kid, I said, I don't even know if mine will tree a coon in this stuff. And I was being honest. But we sent in, and the dog from Ohio wouldn't even go in the woods. Because there was water, 18 inches deep. He'd go out in the fields and run around. He wouldn't even go in the woods. But now, I know the dog could win because you don't just show up to truck hunt because you're a loser. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I knew he was a winner, but he would not go in that water. So anyway, that guy's dog treated a slick, mine treated a den, and then we recut them, and mine treated a coon. And his was treated way through the country, but time we waded that water, the hunt was going to be over, so it didn't matter if he had a coon or not because he'd treat a slick tree. So there was like 18 minutes left. He said, I'm done. He said, there's no way. It'd be stupid trying to. Of course, our scores wasn't very big, guys, because shooting, we was split up 800-900 yards. Well, crap, the time you waded that water, it just took a long time. There was no way you was coming in with 700-900 points in a situation like that. It was impossible, unless you got in maybe some funny deal where you had a bunch of coon in one little bitty section. But so I won that round by that old kid from Alabama. I'll never forget. He looked at me. He said, I think you lied to me about that dog. I said, no, I didn't. I said, no, I didn't. Because I said, I'll be honest, I'm surprised that I won. So anyway, we went in the second round, and we drove in there on I think it's the White River, and we drove over locks. I was pretty scared. Not scared, but you know what I'm saying, worried. We drove in there was locks for the boats to get them from we wasn't far from the White River Refuge, but so they could move boats back and forth. But that thing was up, from all the water, and we was hunting like a big, huge bowl. And anyway, we sent in, and Tedford, I'll think of her name here in a second. She got struck pretty quick, and we walked just a little ways in that water, and we stopped, and I could hear a dog treating, and finally my brain clued in. It's like, stupid, that's your dog treat. So I just struck and treated him in one breath. And 2 dogs come and covered him. We go in there, he had a coon. We was in water foot deep or so. So we, that aggravates me. I can't think of that female's name. I'll think of it here in a second. But anyway, we went out there and recut them. Well, just as soon as we recut, it's kind of a crazy deal. As soon as we recut them, a walker dog just jumped in front of him and bowed up. And I thought, we're going to have a dog fight here 6 foot in front of us. Well, my dog just turned and went right back the way we had hunted, which kind of hacked me off because I thought, we've already been through there. I wanted him to go in the new country, to hunt. Maybe we treat another coon. But he just turned him right back in for that dog bowing up at him, so whatever. But it worked out because Daisy, Unknown Daisy, that's her name. Unknown Daisy had took a strike minus, took another strike minus, so she was going to have to treat 2 or 3 coon to even beat me at that point. And we followed her a long ways, and she made a tree, and it was a den. And there at the very end, she treated another, I think it was another den. And so I got in. So that's how I kind of got in. It wasn't very action-packed, but it worked out in my favor. And then the Friday night we hunted, and we hunted with just it was a good spot, but it was kind of crazy. We drove over a 70 or 80-foot levee over the top of it and come into some timber in between the Mississippi and this levee. Now, let me back up. This ain't actually the Mississippi made a bowl. It's kind of hard to understand, but it made a big old bowl, and a river called Old River on the map come off one corner and went to the other, but it's still a Mississippi, however you sliced it. And this thing was rolling. And when we parked, me and Mike Stepp he went with me, and we got out. Literally, you could have kicked rocks into the river, and this thing's rolling. And I asked that old guy, I said, what in the hell happens if they get in the river? And he goes, we'll pick them up out of the Gulf of Mexico. And I thought, well, this is a hell of a spot to be turning loose. But whatever. So we cut, and it was good hunting, no water. In between that levee and the river, it was, had enough contour that there wasn't no swamp in there. So it was actually good hunting. So they treat some coon. Mine treat some coon. Like the last, I don't know if you've ever, if you did watch the play-by-play, like the last 30, 40 minutes, I never struck my dog. When I recut him, he went back, I'm going to say south, because the river should be flowing south, and he went down the river, crossed the road, and got in another part, and that's why he never was struck in that last 30 or 40 minutes. And I asked the guide, I said, can you treat coon over there? He said, yeah, but you're going to swim if he gets treated. It's deep water over there. He said, ain't like over here. So finally he come back across. Well, the hunt was basically over at that point. Plus, we had hunted a strip, 400 or 500 yards wide, maybe 600. But we had treed 2 and 3, 4 coon in here. Dogs were split treat. So it was kind of runt. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then one dog had went back to a tree. We went and scored the dog that won. We went and scored it. We walked out of there, which I thought this will be good. Maybe give coons time to settle, Well, one of the dogs had went back and treed on a tree. So while we were gone, when we walked way out of there to the north and went to score that dog was treed the whole time right in the middle of that. So when we started coming back, my dog had come in there. Well, at that point, you probably wasn't going to treat no coons. The hunt was over. So I ended up winning second. I was proud. I mean, I still wish I'd have won a pickup because I'd been able to ever win a pickup. But winning second was, I'll say, I guess it was good enough.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was a big deal. It might not have been a big deal to everybody, but I thought it was a big deal.
But yeah, it was, because I don't know how many, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but there ain't been but 1 or 2 ever won second. And maybe none other than me. I don't know. I mean, I ain't went through the books, but it ain't very many, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I guess I could have asked them whenever I called and got that list of wins. But I think there's 71 or 72 wins. There's only 2 wins in there, the truck hunt and the hunt you won this year, the Missouri PKC state champion, that, I mean, was paid more than what an open event would pay, per se. I mean, all the rest of them, I think his lifetime earnings was 10,000 something. Right at 11.
Be close.
Right at 11,000 or something.
Yeah.
And most of it's been at $35 events. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand is I know there's dogs in the blue tick, or I don't care about a local water dogs too. That's won 20,000, but they've won 2 or 3 casts because they paid 2,500 or 6,500 to hunt. I've won 71, not counting all my UKC casts.
Yeah,
but I've won 71. But I won third at the I can't remember what year that was. That was 2 or 3 years ago. I won third at the state hunt. I drew Jed Finley. He's hunting that one out of Trader, won a bunch of money, but I won third that year. And I won $300 or $400 on him. and then the 2,000, and then the 3,300, and then a legacy hunt I'd won 100 at and won 100 here and there. But way over 4,000 of that has been won just on $35 hunts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So-
if you look at the list there's a lot of them that are just open event hunts.
Yes.
That he's won a bunch of them, for sure.
And if my advice to anybody that wants to make a gold champion, just go pay the $2,500 and do it one night instead of doing it like me.
Be a lot cheaper and a lot less headache.
Oh, hell, just go pay the $2,500, you know. Way better off. But, you know, it is, I like PKC and I like the rules. I like the but it is a little deceptive because you'll see a gold champion and you'll find out, well, they've been to 2 hunts.
Yeah.
And they made a gold and then you look at somebody like me, and I can name more than just me. I can name several guys. J.B. Jones is another one, that old Kate female. I think she's maybe a gold champion, and he done a majority of that on small hunts. But it's a little deceiving because you can take it however you want. A dog that's won 2 casts versus a dog that's won 71 is, I'm sorry, there's a little difference there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, any dog can go get lucky and win 1 cast.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So go ahead and tell us about, and then we'll move on. But go ahead and tell us about your state hunt this year.
Okay. Well, of course, I was in the top. I've been the top 16 4 years? Probably since 19, I'd say.
Yeah, 20. Yeah,
29, 20. You know, I've been in the top 16 every year. So anyway, of course, I went to Coal Camp. The first round, we drew. I drew a dog named Cross. Shable, I think, was his name. And then Dennis Thornhill.
Was it Dustin James's cross dog, or?
The dog was named Cross. He was crossbred. He'd won like $60,000-$70,000.
Blue-looking blue-tick dog?
No,
blue
I don't
color?
think so.
Oh.
This dog looked like a crossed-up Walker dog, maybe. I didn't pay that much attention to him, but he wasn't I think this dog was a guy named Shable owned him.
Okay.
I believe, and I could be wrong on that, but him and Dennis Thornhill and a guy named Burns, and not Robert Burns. This guy lives down by Chris Freinerberger, down in Dixon area. Burns was his name. That's all I know. Of course, we drew out of Coal Camp. That old man Zimmerman up there, anybody's been at Coal Camp will know who the old man Zimmerman is, because he's the best guide there is, because he's got the coon. So anyway, we go out to a section. They was already struck on the leads when we got there. I mean, they was already struck. You could tell, you know. We cut them. They go across cornfield, a cut cornfield, of course, and just as soon as they hit the ditch, the cross dog gets treed, and to the right, the Burns guy dogs gets treed, but she's down the ditch some. Mine and Thornhill's dogs deeper in there trailing, so we go down to the cross dog, and he's got a legit den, big den tree. Well, about at the same time, Thornhill's dog had come into the Walker bitch down below us. Mine hadn't. He was on in there deeper, and we went down there and scored that tree, and we circled it, but I'd say it was probably nothing in it, but that's irrelevant. Mine had, by that time, the cross dog was restruck, and mine was struck deeper, and we step out there in that field, they'd shut up. My dog come to me. I'm guessing coyotes, because I'm sure there wasn't no hot wires in there. But I'm guessing he probably got around a coyote, because he come to me, come slinking in scared. And I thought, this ain't very good here, but whatever. Well, the cross dog, the 6 minutes catches him, and they recut their dogs, and he goes on hunting. And we go out to a little old branch. It's, I believe, facing north, and the cross dog's treed. Well, he's treed, so I tree him. We go in there, and the cross dog has a coon. He's about 150 yards from him. He's got a coon. So we get him recut. Dennis Thornhill's dog gets treed, and the Walker bitch gets treed behind him. Well, the cross dog covers the Walker bitch. So mine, which I thought he'd really shafted my hind end there, because he had went south. And I thought, good, go get where I can't handle you no more, you know, because he's pretty good at doing that to me sometimes. So anyway, we was on a pretty steep hillside, listening to dogs trail, and mine went out across a bunch of open fields and was almost a JJ Highway. It's just a two-lane, you know, just two-lane road out there. And I almost withdrew. I thought, this is silly. I'm wasting my time standing here on this side of this mountain, you know. It wasn't long, I thought I could hear him. And I said, Judge, come here. And I said, can you hear him? But about that time, I never did hear him again. So the cross dog gets treed down the creek, and we come off the side of that mountain, get out in that bottom, and I stopped just for a second. Well, heck, I could just hear him playing this all get out treed. He was a mile from us. And I said, Judge. I said, listen.
You hear me in there, Judge?
Well, yeah. I said, Judge, can you hear me? And he goes, no, we're going to score this dog. And I thought, whatever. So he said, I ain't taking your call. I said, I'm not treeing him. I want you to stop a second so I can tree him. He said, we're going to score this dog. So we go across the creek. We're scoring this cross dog, and he's got a tree lays up against a bluff. So I knew he didn't have no coon most likely, because I knew what happened. And I'm not faulting the dog. Any dog would have treed there. There ain't no doubt the coon went up over that rock bluff. So me and the judge is standing about 3 or 4 foot in front of me, and that dog shuts up for just a second, and I can hear him treeing at 1.3 miles up there next to the highway. And I said, Judge, you hear him? And he goes, no. And I said, listen. Wasn't just a second, you heard him playing his day. And I said, you hear him? He goes, yeah. And I said, tree him. And he goes, how far is he? And I said, 1.3. You could tell. He's like, what? And I said, he's 1.3. And he said, really? Or are you, how far is he? You know? And I said, he's 1.3. So we come off that tree. Now we got to go. Their dogs, him and Dennis Thornhill's dogs, a long ways to the north. And then mine's 1.3 behind us. So we go heading to him. The cross dog, he gets him recut. And, of course, he was smart. He cut him the way my dog was. That way, if he got treed, we could hear him, you know. Well, he peels over and gets treed real quick to the right of us. And the judge said, you care if we score him real quick? Because there was like 14 minutes left. And he said, if he's got a coon, you can't win. And there ain't no reason us walking 1.3 miles to yours if this dog's got a coon. So I said, that's fine. So we scored him about 7 minutes on his shine time. I said, I'm going to my dog. He'd been treated a long time. I said, I'm going to go to him if you don't care. And they said, go on. So I went on. He didn't have no coon. Big tree. May have had one, but we couldn't score it. So anyway, we walk over a mile to him, and he was treated. And as I was coming into the tree, I could see a coon about 200 foot from him down one time it was a fence row, you know. And I thought, God, I hope you didn't miss that stupid coon. I thought, surely you didn't miss that coon, you know, because he was looking at me the whole way across that field. So them guys come up there, and they said, go ahead and shine the tree. I no more throwed my light up and squalled. I bet I found that coon in 2 or 3 seconds. That thing looked at me, you could see its whole body. So that's how I won the first round. So the second round, I drew Heartland Bonnie with Zach McBee and Robert Burns and Propane Jane. So
yeah, you didn't draw no slacks, because the first round was the Bunny Dog with Jeremy Burns, the Mac Dog with Thornhill, and it was Dustin James and Cross.
Okay, it was.
And then you, and then the second round was it just a 3-dog cast?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went into the second round, and McCubbins, I think's how you say his name, he guided us. We went over to some of his family's property, and we seen in. And Zach McBee, when they hit the timber, his struck and mine struck. He took first, I took second. Propane Jane went right and struck and got out there and got treed. So we headed to her and was shining the tree. Well, as we shined her tree, I could hear mine treed about 500 or 600 from us. And I asked Chris Freinerberger, was the non-hunting judge, I said, you hear him through there? And he said, no, I don't hear him. And we shined there a little bit longer, and when he got to the other side of the tree, I said, the dog, Jane, kind of shut up for a second. I said, you hear him? He said, yeah, I hear him. I said, tree him. So we come off of her tree. It was a circle. So we come off, we went to his, and I'll be honest, when we got there and we kind of looked for a second, it wasn't that big a tree. I thought, I don't see no coon. This is going to hurt, you know. Not that they was going to minus it, but I thought, I needed a coon. Wasn't long there. Zach McBee said, they found your coon. I thought he was lying to me. I said, what? And he goes, they found your coon. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, they found it. And I yelled over there. I said, you guys find that coon? And Robert Burns said, yeah. I shook this vine. It looked at us. And Chris Feinerberg had seen it, so I got plussed. So about that same time, there was a female treed south of it. Or I'm going to say south. I don't know what direction it was, but I'm going to say south. Was treed. Well, Zach McBee trees. All of a sudden, he takes off. I went ahead and I got mine recut. And me and Robert Burns and Chris Feinerberger's headed south. And I said, what's going on? And they said, we're going to this dog. And I said, well, whose dog is it? And he said, it's Propane Jane. And I said, well, I thought Zach McBee treed. What I didn't realize was Robert Burns had treed Propane Jane, because they was over there on the other side. So all I seen was Zach McBee leave, So I thought I thought it was his female. So anyway, we go to her, and she had a big old crazy tree with a walnut tree growing in it and didn't find nothing. So we go to walking back north. We cannot hear Bonnie. And we walk, and we walk, and we walk, and we walk, and we cannot hear her. Finally, we get up there, and I hear mine struck, so I struck him. Wasn't long he sat down and got treed, so I treed him again. And as we was going, it wasn't long, we could hear Bonnie behind him. Of course, the non-hunting judge went with him, so she's already handled. It wasn't like we could put the two or anything on her, because she'd been handled. So anyway, about that time, Propane Jane gets treed up on the hill above us, to our left. So Robert trees her, and you could hear Bonnie way, way on through there. And I thought, man, this is great. There's like 40 minutes left to hunt. I thought, if I've got a coon, time he goes scores her, time he comes back and scores me, and then we score Burns, the hunt's doing him near over. Well, what I didn't realize, once we crossed the creek, shoot, she wasn't 250 yards past us. I guess I didn't go up there, but I guess she was tucked in a holler or something. Well, I thought, this ain't going to take no time. So it wasn't just a second, here they come back. So I thought, well, they've had a coon or it's slick, one of the two. Of course, she had a coon, and mine was treated in a great big old tree, shoot probably 2 foot in diameter, big old, big oak tree. Feinerberger said, go ahead and shine, and I no more put my light up. I didn't shine 1 second, I bet. And I said, here it is. So, when that happens, normally, it's meant to be. You know what I'm saying? When you find a coon literally in 1 or 2 seconds in a big tree that a coon could have not been found. Mm-hmm. So we go up to Propane Jane. She's got a coon. So I'm setting with Bonnie's setting with first strike, first tree. I had second strike, first tree, and then I had first tree, second strike. So I had, 3 1/4, and he had 225, and then Propane Jane had 150. I got to keep my scores right because they've changed that to 125, and I sometimes forget that. But she had 150. So McGovern's, the guide, said, probably need to get out of here. And we said, nope, we're turning loose. So we just walked down there and sent them right off the hill, right back to that creek where we was at. Mine and Propane Jane went to the right, out to our right, got him behind us. Well, she struck. He struck her. Bonnie struck right down here in front of us. Mine never did say a word, but he come behind us and come out to my left, going on in there. Man, it wasn't long. Bonnie sat down and got treed down there. And I thought, oh, this is going to hurt. Because she's got a coon. The hunt was getting close to being over. So anyway, we go down. As we head down the hill, we got closer and closer. And I said, she's treed right about where mine was at. And he goes, she's pretty close. We get down there, and I said, it's the same tree. And he goes, what? And I said, that's a tree we just scored. And he goes, is it? And I said, yes. I said, that's the tree I just pulled my blue dog off of. And Chris Freinerberger, I heard him say something like, let me look. And he looked at it just a second. He said, yeah, that's a tree we just pulled the blue dog off of. So I don't know. But now she trailed into that tree. She didn't just run down here and get treed. She trailed to it. But now, it wasn't one of them deals where it was out in an open field. I've heard of stories like that where, like a lone, this was a forest of trees. So anyway, I don't know. She went and got treed on that tree. So we didn't even shine it because there wasn't no reason to. When we get back up, Propane Jane was treed right beside a stacking shed because there was broiler houses, chicken houses, broilers. And I thought, this is going to hurt too because they throw them dead chickens in there and them coons just go nuts eating them. And I thought, she'll have a coon. We went up there and it was a big old bush. Not a bush. It was a tree, but just a big bushy tree, and we never did find the coon. And just about 2 or 3 minutes left in the hunt, I heard him strike about 800 or 900 yards deep up the creek, and I struck him, but then the hunt was over, and that was that. And that's how I won the state championship, which I don't know how many blue ticks have won the state championship, but I can guarantee it ain't very many either.
Yeah, well, you don't draw any slouches up there for sure. Not around here.
Mm-mm.
No, there was world champions there and everything.
Yeah, Stogie was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the 12 dogs was there was big winners. This wasn't just some...
Yeah. Well, the cross dog just won the...
swag hunt.
Pro sport, yeah,
the
deal.
$50,000 hunt.
And,
what he told me.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
and Propane Jane had just won a truck. She probably had won 50 or 60,000. I don't know what Heartland Bonnie's won, but they told me it was probably 50 or 60, 70,000.
Yeah,
I don't know, but a bunch. And then the cross dog guy told me he'd just won 50,000 and whatever else he'd won.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you throw Stogie in there, it's won 70 or 80,000. There was all the dogs there that I know of was had won a lot of money, was big winners.
Yeah, yeah. And me and Brett's talked about this before. I've drawn Jane several times, and she's a coon dog.
Propane Jane?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a nice dog.
And she's action-packed, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Burns has to run her by side every day to keep her calm down.
Yeah, she's action-packed. That's fact.
Yeah.
He'll even say she'll be treated 15 minutes every single time.
Yeah.
Best I can tell, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear some crush stories. I know of one right here behind your house that happened one night where, what you got?
Well, wait a minute. Didn't crush. We didn't talk about any UKC wins. You got some big trophies back there.
Well, the first hunt I put him in was the sectional, and I won it. That would have been in 18.
Did we talk about them?
No, we ain't talked about
That's what
them.
I thought.
No, the only thing we've talked about is PKC.
Yeah.
But
we were just talking about the green paper.
Yeah. Of course, we ain't even talked about all them either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, I won. I went to Blue Eye and won a sectional, and then the Show Me Breed Showdown. That was put on at Wentworth, and that was a blue tick, an English, and a red bone sectional all in one night. Mm-hmm. It was kind of neat. We done it for a few years, but then people got where they wasn't coming, so we just quit it. But I done it. I won it twice. Oh, and then I went down to Podo, Oklahoma. A boy, Israel Hughes, called me one time and said, let's go to Podo. And that's when he wasn't even grand yet. And said, let's go down to Podo. They're having the Smoky River Memorial. And I said, let's go. 3 hours. So we drove down there, and I won it. Won King of the Hunt down there on that hunt. And then I went to Gravett and won second in an RQE. And qualified me, of course, for the UKC World. And then we went to Seneca for the zones. And Friday night I got in, Brett, like we said. And then you got in Saturday night of 18. And I ended up being high-scoring blue tick male at the 2018 World Hunt with him. And I drug my feet on the last coon we treated, and I should have gotten the top 20. But, of course, everybody can say that when you go to a coon hunt. It woulda, shoulda, coulda, you know. Mm-hmm. But if I would have treated him like I should have, I'd have got in the top 20 with him that year. And then I went to Gravett again and won another second in an RQE down there. And then I went to Palmyra to Blue Tick Days. And I was the only dog on the cast this tree of coon that round. And that was Phil Vogel and one of them females he's got. It stormed on us. But anyway, he ended up being the only coon treed that round. But that was the first year they had done, they had took the top 16 winning blue ticks and had a special hunt. And I got to go to it because I was in the top 16. That was at Palmyra. And I won the first round and ended up winning third overall. I thought third, yeah. And then I ended up winning the cast the next night in just a normal hunt. And I don't think we ended up hunting Saturday night. And then, of course, I ain't hunted. And then my buddy, he took him to Autumn Oaks this year, and he hunted him 3 nights, and he won his cast every single night up there with him. We didn't have enough to get like the Sweet 16, but he did win his cast. John Stibe is the friend that took him. He didn't have nothing to hunt. His female had pups, I believe, and he said he'd never been and wanted to go. Could I take Crush? And I said, yeah, I'll take him. But I know he won 2 nights, but he said the other day, if I heard him right, that he won 3 nights with him. Every night he hunted with him. And I know 1 or 2 nights he was on no dog could even treat a coon up there, but he didn't have enough to get in the Sweet 16. So he actually made him a grand night too. And then I'd won a cast at the Winter Class. I won my cast down at the Winter Classic one year. That was one. I think that was one of the ones after he had been a grand night. But he's a grand night too. Of course, I don't hunt him. I ain't hunted him. I did win my cast in the RQE at Aurora, and I didn't even go to zones. Matter of fact, 18 was the only year I've won 3 or 4, or placed in several world qualifiers, and I ain't even went. I don't know why. That one year in 18 is the only year that I actually even went to. I think that's the only year I even went to the zones. But then I got to hunt PKC so much, that's all I've hunted. Mm-hmm. The tournament champions, what was retarded. I'll tell you how retarded I am. Last year, John won like 3 with him, and I had the guy to cast out of Wentworth and won a cast with him. Oh, it needed like one more cast win to qualify the tournament champions, and I was so unmotivated didn't even do that. So anyway.
Either way, he's done a lot of winning.
I've done a lot of winning with him. I really have, and I've beat a lot of good dogs with him. And he ain't perfect by any means, but he suits me. And I'm pretty high. Of course, anybody that knows me knows I'm high strung, and it takes a certain dog to suit me.
Yeah.
And I've hunted with a lot of good dogs, and I know what a good hound is. But
yeah, so me and you drawed out a bunch together, and I've seen him go several times, competition hunting and pleasure hunting, and he's definitely a coon dog. And I don't know, I've been with a few Blueticks, but he's probably the best one I've been with anyway. And that might not be saying a whole lot, but he's definitely looked good the nights I've been with him.
He normally does.
Yeah.
He normally looks pretty good. He can get out of pocket once in a while. That's kind of the biggest thing.
Yeah, but he's got a big enough mouth if it ain't too bad. You can
got a lot of hunt.
Yeah, he does. Normally does.
Yeah, I guess this was the first. Was it the first PKC hunt we had at Aurora? It was me, you, and
hunted in the snow.
And Andrew, and it was sleet and snowing, and my female went in and just slammed the coon right out of the truck. And I thought, I got this in the bag. I've won this cast.
Yeah, I did too. I thought there's no way to beat him. I mean, I thought the chance of training another coon in that crap was.
Yeah, and he slips over there deep in there, and I'm begging her to go cover him. Yeah. And he gets treed, and I'm thinking, just please get there before time's up. Let me get a quarter of this at least. And I'd be dogged if we didn't have a coon on the outside.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did. Yeah, that was a horrible night. It was cold as hell, and the
winds blowing.
Yeah, when you treat the coon, I thought, I'm screwed. This is over. Let's go to the house. And I don't know why the coon were moved, but they were. I'll tell you the best ones when I had Lane Denny and Tyler Compton, and Lane had Shot and Tyler had Jenna, and we had a hunt at Wentworth. Guys, and it was the trees were humped over from the ice and snow on them, and the ground was covered in ice and snow. Well, the first round, everybody hunted up there. Half of them I don't even think got struck. I mean, it was just stupid. But it's one of them deals where you think, well, I'm going to go over there because nobody will be there. And then come find out everybody shows up because everybody thought there was nobody. Well, he had like 12 or 16 dogs show up there. Yeah. Well, it's stupid to be out hunting, but whatever. But like I said, that's what them guys get to thinking. Ain't going to be nobody there. But I had brought, the first round, I'd brought a cast back down here on the creek. But the creek had warmed up about 100 foot wide off that creek. And Lane's dog treated 2 coon and dens, and he squalled them and seen both of them. I tell you how lucky he is. But mine and Cheyenne's tack dog that died on him down there in that one hunt had got up in the timber, and well, you wasn't going to treat no coon up there in that timber. If Lane's dog stayed on the creek where he should have.
Yeah.
But the second round, me and Lane and Tyler drew up, and we hunted up there north of the club, in between the club and Interstate 44, and it was stupid. It was cold. God, it was brutally cold. And mine got in there and got showing treed. But you couldn't hear him. I thought, like 500 or 600 yards. And I thought, what the heck's going on? He's treed. I know he is. We finally get out there close enough you could hear him. But I guess there was enough snow and ice on them trees that it was just, it was like a
dampener.
A dampener.
Yeah.
You could, well, I hear him. So I strike and tree him. And we go to him. He's treated this is one of the best hunts I ever won that I liked winning, It was a snag about 12 or 13 foot tall with not a limb on it with woodpecker holes in it. And Tyler Compton, he walked around the deal. He says, my God, he's got it. And you could see it in a woodpecker hole. That's all it was a big, one of them big old pileated woodpeckers, how they'll peck a big. You could see that stupid thing laying in that tree. And I said, guys, I don't think that coon's ever been out of that tree. And Tyler said, I think you're right. I don't think the dog's ever been out of the tree. But he was the only dog that treated a coon up there that night in that snow. Garrett Miller and Cheyenne and them was just north of us a mile, and their dogs never even struck. They never even struck them in. Yeah. And he treated that coon and that freaking deal. I may be, you can't never go up there and ask that coon if he had been out, but I'm going to say he winded that coon in that tree and found him.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Old Crush has got a nose on him. He's got a big old mouth, and he's got a lot of hunt, and he's bred right. And I don't own a blue tick. But I can tell you right now, I had a blue tick female or if I had 2 blue tick females, I wouldn't drive over here with you, Jason, because it'd take us 2 weeks to get here.
They'd be out of heat time he got them here.
They'd be out of heat by the time they got here. Yeah, so I'd probably bring myself, but I'd be bringing both of them gyps over here, and I'd be breeding them to crush. I guarantee you.
I've tried to study them a little bit. I don't want to be a stud dog owner per se, but I would like just a few bitches to have some blood to keep going with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've got him stored. I've got his dad still stored, and it's funny. I just can't. The blue tick guys I don't know what's wrong with them, but they're really cliquey. Which they tell me the plot guys and the red bones are kind of the same way, but I can't beg or borrow them to come and breed to him.
Them English guys are like that too.
Is that what they are? Maybe they are too. But it's like
Hey, if you're gonna hit on that, you can just hit on all of them.
the water dog guys ain't as bad though.
No, probably not. Well, there's a lot more of them to choose from, so I mean, somebody's got to be able to get along.
They breed the winners. You know, if somebody's winning, they'll breed to it.
Oh yeah.
Where the blue tick guys are, I don't really know what the deal is with them. They're really weird. You know, Big Country took off, and rightfully so. But guys, they bred about as many Walker Coons as blue ticks.
Yeah.
I mean, that don't even make sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of weird. It's I don't know what their deal is. You know, it's funny. I get on Facebook. Now I'm going to complain about the blue tick guys a little bit. But you get on Facebook and they talk about, you know, I see posts all the time. Why can't we win the world hunt? Well, I'll tell you why.
Stay tuned for part 2 if you want to hear what the blue tick breed, in Aaron's words, can do to get to the finish line of the world hunt or a big event. Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day. Thanks, guys, for listening to the Coonhound Collective podcast today. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to the podcast. If you don't mind, head over to Facebook and give us a like, and head over to Instagram and give us a follow. It's both at the Coonhound Collective. Also, if you would like to reach us here at the Coonhound Collective, you can reach us at thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. If there's someone that you would like to hear on the podcast or a product that you would like to hear talked about, please send it to thecoonhoundcollective@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great day.